ladies and gentlemen, I hope you agree with me, that food was absolutely excellent, wasn't it? Lovely, all eaten well, all enjoyed yourself? Yeah, round of applause, yes, why not? Yeah, terrific. And now we come to a portion of the afternoon which I know most of you are looking forward to. Some of you, a few of you are absolutely dreading. But it's time for speeches, and always an enjoyable time, always a revealing time in some respects. And to start us off, I'd like to hand over to Liam, the brother of the bride. So Liam, take the stage, please.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me?
No.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you and thank you all for coming on this day to celebrate the marriage of Anne and Greg. And you look lovely and radiant, and Greg, you've scrubbed up well as well. I'd especially like to welcome, a very warm welcome to Greg's friends and family. And in fact to all the relatives and friends who have come here on this day. I know some of you have travelled a fair few miles, and it is much appreciated, so thank you very much. Let me start by saying that it is an honour to stand here today in the role of the father, and I can only be second best or a substitute for the real deal, and I think you'll all agree, for those of you who knew him, that Dad would have been especially proud and delighted to have been here for this day. And in fact, it's one of those ceremonies where we actually, those occasions where we think fondly of all our absent family and friends. You'll be pleased to know that the choice of me doing the father's speech was arrived at quite democratically. And informed John, my brother there at the end, that there were two roles for us. One was walking down the aisle, and the other one was to do the speech. And then John, at Christmas time, came to me and said, "We've got two jobs, one of us. Walking down the aisle or doing the speech." And John immediately said, "And I don't do speeches." So I get to speak, you unfortunately get to listen, which for a guy who's been married for 26 years is a wonderful and unique... At this moment in time, thank Mum for actually having the three of us, because the teamwork of walking down the aisle, making the speech and being the bride would not have been possible without her. I'll keep the cameraman on his toes here, that was a moving about on I do have some memories of Anne as a baby. I've seen her be sick, wet herself, crying her eyes out and crawling on the floor. But I've been given strict instructions not to talk about her 21st birthday party. So I won't. I can recall that when she was quite small that Anne would pass herself off as a very comfortable cushion. Now, when we were young, myself and John would be out in the garden throwing bricks at each other, as you do, and then we'd run into the house and jump on the sofa for a rest. This would be followed by a muffled wailing noise, whereupon we'd jump back up again and see a red-faced, screaming sister who'd been enjoying a quiet snooze on the sofa. I'm ashamed to say that we did this on more than one occasion, either because we never learnt or because we just enjoyed doing it. I'm actually still surprised that Anne has a relatively normal shaped head and it doesn't need to be fluffed up every now and again. Now, because of the age difference between us, we sort of grew up different phases of our lives. So when I went to secondary school, Anne was just starting in primary. And when Anne started secondary, I was going to uni, and then Anne went on to uni, and I was starting off married life with Sarah. However, once myself and Sarah had Declan and Lily, Anne was very keen to help out with our two kids whenever she came up south, or we came up north and we came down south. And all was right in the world until that fateful day. when Anne, Declan and Lily, Declan must have been about 8 and Declan and Lily must have been about 8 or 6 at the time, were upstairs playing in Mum's bedroom in our house, and myself, Sarah and Mum were downstairs having a quiet chat, when there came an almighty crash, followed by silence, followed by running footsteps down the stairways, and in came Lily, telling us that Auntie Anne had let her bounce on the bed and had failed to stop her sliding off said bed, and that she had scraped her back, and she eagerly proceeded to show us this huge scrape on her back. Anne came down a few minutes later, shaken and upset, and declared straight away, "It wasn't me." Now this story has actually grown in dramatic license over the years, and apparently the fall down the side of the bed was very similar to the way that Wile E. Coyote used to fall off cliffs when the road runner drove him. Now Lily did get her room back on Anne about a few months later during an incident entitled, "Should you give a 6-year-old child a battery-operated handheld fan and ask said 6-year-old to pretend to dry her Auntie Anne's hair?"
I remember this.
And not expect the fan and the hair to go to bed together in a horrible, knotted, tangled mess. We can laugh about it now. Well, in fact, we laughed about it at the time. However, hopefully, Jonathan and Matthew have benefited from Anne's experience with our two, and that any major incidences of trauma have been kept to a minimum. Now, Anne and Greg, I believe, have been together for 12 odd years, yes? So you would think there'd be not much you could say about a couple who've been together that long. However, the noble institution of marriage is a different beast altogether. So I think it's, I feel duty-bound, and I had enough experience myself, of course, to point out a few things to you. Okay. My best advice for Greg is to make the most of the honeymoon period. Alright? For those of you who don't know, the honeymoon period is that time between I do and you'd better. Thank you, that's Dawson for that one. There is for both of you the recognition that marriage is an equal partnership, okay? For example, in the matter of housework, you will both equally insist that you do more than 70% of the housework. One of you is wrong. Greg. Of course, couples who have been together for a good while know that the secret of a successful marriage is patience, tolerance, and understanding. And forgiveness as well. Now, failing that, a bad memory, or in my case, being hard of hearing, can be very, very useful. Although, except in the matter of birthdays and anniversaries, never, ever forget those, Greg.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Now,
I'm making notes on this. I'm taking it really seriously.
John over there has just looked at his watch, which is a signal that he needs a drink. Before I finish off, I'd just like to share a personal toast to you. Here's to the past, to all that you've learned. Here's to the present, for all that you've shared. And here's to the future, for all that you look forward to together. Right, all that remains for me to do is to ask you to enjoy the rest of the day. And it's my final duty, and it's my very, very great pleasure, to propose the toast to Anne and Greg. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you please all stand up. I'd like to give you the bride and groom. The bride and groom.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Give that man a round of applause. Fantastic. You can tell a story. Fantastic. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, it's my very great pleasure to introduce my old mate, Greg, the bride. No, what are you today? You're the groom.
That's a story that's been
That's just between us.
excellent, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Greg, the groom.
You, me, and Peter Ronald Jenkins, probably. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming. Say it again.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, thank you all for coming. You may have noticed as whilst we were assembling we had Pink Floyd. We had Pink Floyd earlier, and that was my statement on the day. As we walked out, we collectively chose the music at last, Etta James, at last. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. I first met Anne on the 22nd of January 1993. It's 21 plus years ago. It was a lightning bolt moment. Absolutely. I remember it to this day. I've written many songs about it. In fact, if you saw me singing last night, one of the songs, I still feel that moment every waking day is a line. I walked into a Chinese restaurant for a Chinese New Year celebration with some friends. It's Tom's fault. Where's Tom? Yeah, it's your fault. And there was this face across the room, smiling. I thought, that's a new face. And spoke to Anne all evening, made a right fool of myself, got very drunk. Every waking day. So that was 21 years ago. It was never to be 21 years ago. We were too young, there was too many things we both needed to do. We went off and did those. I've got some notes about Anne. My opportunity here is to talk about my new bride. She's smart. Oh, she's chosen me. That's pretty smart. When we have a short amount of time in the evening together, she beats me religiously at pointers. No doubt. She's smart, this girl. Josh. There's another quality that she's got. She's really calm. She can just put oil on troubled waters every time, and that is despite all the Irish genes inside her, from the middle and the southwest of the country. Those of you who know the story in depth, to me, she saved my life, absolutely, and continues to do so. There's another seminal date. We talked about January 1993, 17th of November, when I was in a very, very dark place. Again, another lightning bolt moment. I walked into a room, it's Tom's fault. Yes, Tom's fault. I walked into this thing and we were having a chat. It was a reunion of all the people that we used to meet when we had this Chinese evening some many years before. And I said, is that girl Anne going to be here? He said, oh yeah, she's going to be here. She organised it. And then she walked through the door. That was 12 and a half years ago. So it's Tom's fault. TVR at the time, because Tom, if you know Tom, he's the one for a drink. So TVR is a tequila, vodka and Red Bull. So Anne walked in, I bought her a tequila, vodka and Red Bull. And the next day she sent me one of those text messages you get on your mobile phone. About 2 months later, she got a special note from her mobile phone provider that said, I know you've got an unlimited number of text messages you can send at any given month, but we think 6,000 is excessive. That's kind of the strength of relationships. So had the text been around back in January 1993, who knows what the story would have been. Those of you know Anne very well. She's got a practical side. She believes she knows how many guitars will fit inside her house. And she thinks it's 12. Wrong. It's 15, but she doesn't know about the other 3. Yep. She's, for those of you who know her, she's very, very giving. She gives very freely of her time. She's been a fantastic stepmonster to these 2 children of mine. And she has a fantastic relationship with my family. Every now and then, in fact, she's my father's favourite sort of daughter-in-law. Every now and then. Pretty much today. Anytime he sees her, in between, no. And my brother will talk about Lady. Lady is, because there was a period in time when Anne was not working in London, and she worked part of the time for my brother, and she would go in the office, and she was known as Lady, because Lady did everything, didn't she? Yeah.
Not everything.
Not in the biblical sense. Another quality of this wonderful lady to my left here, she's patient. Just look at yesterday, for those of you that were here. She gave me the free rein to go and do all of that stuff. She spent a load of time helping organise it. She's super patient. And I'm very proud to say that she's absolutely the love of my life. So that's my little piece on that. So my job's very easy from now on in. I've got some thank yous to say. When we were putting this list of people together, we used a piece of shorthand. So the piece of shorthand that we used were, for example, our witnesses were Joan and Barbara. And Joan is the mother of the bride. So, mob. Here is mob. And Barbara is the stepmother of the groom, so she's smog. Sorry, it's just wet floors. So we've got some gifts for you. So, Joan. Yeah, you're well organised here. And Barbara, thank you. Well, thank you. Please pass. Yeah, please pass. So the next people that I'd like to thank are our 2 bridesmaids, Sid and Eddie. Sorry, Lily and Joyce. Well, one of them's very tall and one of them's not. And I've got down the initials we use for you. I'm really sorry, Lily, but you're a knob. Being the niece of the bride. And Joyce, you're a mob, obviously, being the mate. So we have some gifts for you 2. Please come forward. Yes, Joyce. Thank you. I'm not going to tell you the story about the dress. I mean, clearly very, very stunning, but it had its ups and its downs. In terms of the finding of the dress and the support through the ups and the downs, and all the help over the last few weeks, and the countless number of spreadsheets, I'd like to. The next offer is to Fob, who's friend of the bride, and his friend Gail. Please come forward. And we had some fantastic ushering done, I thought. And the 2 ushers are sogs. The 2 sogs are the sons of the groom. We've got Matthew, thank you, and Jonathan. And in in the ushering stakes, also Tom, whose fault all of this is. We didn't have an acronym for Tom, so I've written Danger UXB. There's a story about Tom. I've got to tell this one. Tom, very good friend of mine. He has a reputation, and it's not true. No, not true at all. We went one time. 5 of us went out when the rugby was on. There was an Englishman, an Irishman, a Scotsman, a Welshman, and a Frenchman. We played some drinking games around town. We ended up in TGI Fridays, the 5 of us, and we ordered. We sat on the table for the 5 girls. First thing, we were uninvited. We ordered all the starters on the menu and all the cocktails on the menu. And Tom proceeded to extol virtues of his current job of being a sun pilot. Anyway, that day ended up pretty messily. 3 months later, Jonathan was at my house. We were working on some music, and it was 9:30 on a Friday, and the phone rang. I answered the phone, and it's Tom. Greg, we're in town. Come down to the Sun. We're in the Sun. Come and have a drink. It's Friday. It's 9:30. I said, John, it's Tom. He said, I'm never drinking with that man ever again. I said, look, it's Friday. This is when the pub's shut, 11 o'clock. It's Friday, it's 9:30. We'll finish this. We'll get down there. Earliest we'll get there is 10:15. And 10:15, it'll take it. It's Friday night. It'll take us 15 minutes to get a drink. So we're only going to be in there drinking half an hour before the pub shut. What damage can he do in half an hour? 3 o'clock in the morning, 15 people back at the house. Biggest hangover I've ever known. So, yeah, don't for USB, please come forward. And this present is Fog, the father of the group, my father for putting up with me, and for a wonderful introduction. You didn't do so well at the end when you seemed to be a little bit choked, but thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Gift to my father.
Thank you.
And for Liam and for John, Bob's. We have a gift each. This one's for John. This one's for Liam. What a lovely speech, thank you. Lovely speech. Wait, he'd rather sit on you than kiss you. Next one is for Famog. This is for friend and mentor of the group, my very, very great friend, Glenn. Please come forward, our MC. And finally, sorry, I didn't write it down. If it's not written down, it doesn't count. So we've got another knob. Declan had a very important role to play involved running up and down the stairs most of the afternoon. So, Knob, if you could please come forward for your... and Slog for running around all town and getting cakes for us. Slog, Slow, that's what I said, wasn't it? Sister-in-law of the bride, Sarah. These jokes were a bit thin. And finally, for the B-fog, and the person we'll be talking to you shortly, best friend of the groom, lifelong friend of the groom, and oh, what a performance last night. Thank you, Jonathan. So,
Liam eloquently talks
about absent friends. There's too long a list. We watched a film not so long ago. I don't know if some of you see it. It's a rom-com. It's my favourite genre of movie, despite what you see. And there's a film called 5-Year Engagement, where this couple have a long engagement, and during their 5-year engagement, so many people that are important to them pass away, which is really sad. And we have a long list ourselves because we've had a not necessarily 10-year engagement. I've been asking her to marry me for 10 years, but she only said yes not so long ago, under great sufferance. So that there is a long list. I won't list all the names. Two of them, however, are here in person, in name if not in person. So we have John Finbar Murphy at the end here, we have Eleanor Jane Venn over there, so special names to some of us. But thank you all. Some of you travelled a long way from here, a long way to get here. Some of you come from Boston, come from the very southwest tip of Ireland, Bear Island, Cork, Clough Jordan in the centre of Ireland, St Helens, north of England. I mean that's a wasteland. Preston, that's a bigger wasteland. Todmorden, which is somewhere you've heard of, but you know no idea where it is. It's Christchurch. I can't read that one. Oh, Kent. I wasn't clear about the vowel, so I was careful there. There's Marta has made it all the way over from Tolpuddle, and the longest journey of all is from that house over there in Caversham that you can see through the window. Thank you all so much for coming. Anne and I we got a job. We got to take these two back home. And we're going to unwind and reflect on what has been an amazing couple of days and has yet to finish. And then Tequila Tommy comes back because we're going to Mexico. Hey! And I'll tell you so Mexico, here we come. Thank you all, and we'll see you later for a drink. Love you all.
Very much indeed, Greg. I wish you all happiness in the future, the pair of you. Wonderful. Thanks very much indeed. Okay. Now the moment most of you have been waiting for. It's my very great pleasure to introduce the best man, Jonathan.
Table 4. It's not started yet. I'll let you know when it started. Anybody else playing a betting game?
Yeah. 7 minutes, 32 seconds.
How much are we going to gain?
I think 35.
Excellent, I'll make it that long.
Yeah.
We'll start off, as is traditional, with some telegrams. I'll try and read these correctly.
You got glasses?
Perhaps I should. To Anne and Greg, congratulations and happiness always. I hope it's a fantastic day. I think it has been. Pete, Emma and Harrison.
Yes, boss.
This one. To Anne and Greg, with love on your wedding day and your life beyond, from Paula.
Paula's a very good friend of ours.
Right. And now telegrams that now come by email. So, as they don't any longer do telegrams. Hi Greg, just wanted to wish you all the very best for this weekend. Congratulations and also a very happy birthday. Really sorry we can't be there. I fear my weekend's celebrations will be very tame by comparison. Hope to catch up soon. All the best, Owen and Andrea.
That was my first sales support 20 years ago.
Greg, so you made it on time again. Happy birthday and many more. I wish you a happy birthday and many years of joy, happiness and good health. What is marriage? Marriage is a relationship in which one person is always right and the other is a husband. That's and that's from Gil Kumar.
It's one of my colleagues.
Right. And this is my favourite one. From Ray Crawford. Dorothy, and I have to do it in this voice, I'm sorry. Dorothy and I send hearty congratulations on your forthcoming nuptials. Have a great weekend, and I just love the word forthcoming. I think you've got stopwatches on. Okay. Start now. Right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And if any of you are unsure whether you're a lady or a gentleman, then please be comforted that you're also welcome to a good afternoon, because I need everybody on my side as I navigate this tightrope that is the best man's speech. So, I have been presented with the honour of assisting with today's proceedings, and I have, fortunately for all concerned, had the magnificent support of Matthew, Johnny and the inimitable Tom Crawford in doing that, and I'm sure everybody will join me in thanking you gentlemen for the magnificent job of ushering at the highest ushering standards that are available to mankind. We must have done a pretty good job over the last day or so, because Greg's actually here, able to stand, and amazingly he was nearly able to speak.
It's not down to Tom.
So, just noticed I've had to write this out large, so I'm old now, I can't remember stuff. So. Well, I'm Jonathan, probably one of Greg's longest serving friends. We have known each other since we were about 12 at school, a time before mobile phones, a time before the internet, a time before Facebook. It's a simple time where you spend time with your friends in the same physical space, enjoying playing sports, music, reading, actually sometimes even having a conversation. A time of real friends, and Greg is a very real friend. We've been friends for something like 38 years, and in that time we have shared many of life's journeys. Everything from the simple joys of discovering a new band, a good pub, a new guitar amp, playing in bands together, a good pub, through to the joys of fatherhood and a desperate need to find another good pub. But as is required for a best man's speech, I have simplified our relationship and our friendship for comedic purposes, but not a great deal. Each one of us here knows our own version of Greg and has our own version of Greg, and whether it's a son, a father, a brother, a friend, now a husband and a son-in-law, we each have our own, version of Greg that kind of fills that space. All I can tell you about is the Greg that I know. And he is without doubt the most generous, loyal, kind-hearted and honest man I've ever had the privilege to call a friend. He is also one of the most engaging, persuasive and resourceful, with a particular aversion to mediocrity. he really doesn't understand the word medium at all. Who else but Greg would organise a 50th birthday party the day before his wedding and think it's a good idea? It's okay for him, it's the rest of us I feel sorry for. Who else would manage to persuade a band to get together after 33 years, after their one and only gig, and get them to agree to play at said party with only one rehearsal? As Greg would say, what could go wrong? Well, what generally happens is that we find ourselves doing stupid stuff. So, here's now a few stories which kind of fall into that stupid stuff category. And the first one relates to something that happened about 10 years ago. Greg asked me if I'd go to a school reunion. And as is my normal way, I said, nah. That means speaking to people I haven't met for a long time and being social and stuff like that. Yes, Greg, it'll be great. I'll pick you up at 7. It won't be a late night. It's only about 15 miles away. What could go wrong? No, I said. Greg said, look, I'm driving anyway. I'll pick you up in an hour. Okay, I said, sounding more and more like Eeyore as the England was leaving. Anyway, I was duly collected, and we arrived at the reunion, and Greg mingled in his normal, confident, carefree manner, and managed to get me to do the same. And we mingled so confidently that we forgot there was any law related to drinking and driving. And at the very end of the evening, we slurred our way towards Greg's car, only to find a very nice police car parked next to it. Oh no! What to do? I know, says our hero. We'll get a coffee in that hotel across there. Because as everybody knows, a single coffee can instantly sober you up from being off your face only moments before. Brilliant. So into the hotel we go. 2 coffees, please, says Greg. I'm sorry, we don't serve coffee at this time unless you have a room, sir, was the response. Okay, we'll have a room, please. And then there was this moment of brilliance. Hang on, if we got a room, forget the coffee, we'll have 2 large brandies. And so the evening carried on. Kim was delighted when he poured me through the letterbox the following morning. Sheer genius, I think, that in the face of adversity. There are many other examples of Greg's devil-may-care approach to life. The handbrake turn in his Fiat 127, which would have been brilliant had it not taken place in the middle of a campsite and nearly demolished our own tent. Performed with utter conviction, but a stupid thing. As was our journey from Newbury to Bicester in his yellow Triumph Spitfire, which some of you might have seen a picture of last night. It's brilliant. A glorious journey in the summer. This was early January. And the car gradually filled with snow as we got stuck in traffic. Brilliant. On the other hand, I remember he averted disaster at a party by deciding that a jar of pizza topping would be a perfect substitute for tomato juice in a Bloody Mary. And it very nearly was. I have witnessed him eating a bar of soap which he thought was a particularly fine cheese one evening. And many years later, he ate a banana with a skin on. To be fair, it had been on a barbecue and was black, it did look like a sausage. I've also seen him looking as though he'd been attacked by a giant cheese grater. What happened? I asked him. Nothing really. Just got drunk, fell down a really long escalator in Paris. I could go on, but I fear that I didn't have enough ink in the printer. I found this quote about friendship from an American chappie, a guy called Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "It is one of the blessings of old friends that you can afford to be stupid with them," which sums up our friendship pretty accurately, as we enjoy much stupidity together, and I look forward to even more stupidity in the future. However, today is about Anne and Greg, and the celebration of their future together. And you look stunning today. And you have performed miracles in curbing some of Greg's more outlandish concepts for today's event. Although I would have enjoyed seeing him arrive by jetpack in a gold lame suit, whilst the rest of Rattlesnakes played the Hallelujah chorus. I think that would have gone down the storm. Anyway, enough of this rambling. Please stand with me, and again, let's toast our bride and groom. Anne and Greg, our bride and groom.
Speeches in my life, that was brilliant. Give him another round of applause, please.
You shone like the sun. Shine on, you crazy darling. Now there's a look in your eyes, like black holes in the sky. The secret to soul. You cried for the moon. Cried on, crazy darling. Thread my shadows at night and expose in the light.